Good morning, guys. So today I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and opinions on the new NARS foundation. So this is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. It is a new release. This isn't going to be a first impressions. I have been trying this foundation every day over the weekend because I wanted to form an opinion about it, as it is a little bit more pricey. This foundation runs for $49, so $50. It does come in 33 shades, I believe. It's either 32 or 33, so it is a good shade range. I will give them that. I have like kind of mixed feelings. It's not like mixed feelings. Like, I know I personally love this foundation, but I can see it not being everyone's favorite, and I'm going to tell you why and tell you my thoughts about it. So let's just jump in. So I'm going to read straight from Sephora's website, like the claims about it. It says, NARS first 16-hour wear foundation. I feel like 16 hours is like a kind of random amount of time, but let's go with it. Has a lightweight, breathable, fade-resistant formula, features medium to full, buildable coverage in 33. Okay, so it was 33 shades, which is great. Matching shades to fit all skin tones and undertones. The transfer-resistant, sweat-resistant formula stays color true all day and continues to look fresh and vibrant as if it was just applied. Let's see, some other good stuff thrown in there to help skin's elasticity. Fibers to smooth and improve skin's appearance over time for optimal radiance. Okay, so it does have some good claims, and I do agree with most of them, but there are a few in there that I'm kind of on the fence about. So first and foremost, I absolutely love the way this foundation looks on my skin. It's undeniable that it looks really, really great. It looks great in pictures. It looks great on camera. You guys are gonna see when it applies. It does definitely have a skin-like appearance with a medium to full buildable coverage without looking like cakey or anything. It doesn't exaggerate any texture on my face. It definitely gives me more poreless looking finish. Doesn't exaggerate any pores, especially on my nose where I have the most pores. It glides and looks very smooth over my nose, which I love. But that being said though, I don't think it's the most long wearing foundation, although it will wear on the face like without like deteriorating off my face. I do see some like oils starting to produce around like hour 5, which isn't bad, and I think that's just because that it's a more natural finish foundation. If it were to be like a completely matte foundation, I'm sure we would see more longevity out of the foundation, but in my experience with more natural finish foundations, they aren't the most like long wearing, stay put, like rock solid foundations, which isn't a bad thing at all. I just don't like when foundations, which like pretty much every brand does this, labels a foundation for all skin types, when in reality it's really not going to be for all skin types, because this type of foundation is definitely best for like normal to combination skin, because it's not going to wear very well on oily skin. And if you have dry skin, since it is like in between a matte and dewy foundation, it might exaggerate a little bit more dryness. So I personally think this foundation is going to be best suitable for normal to combination skin, and that's why we're having these reviews that some people are absolutely loving this foundation, some people are absolutely hating this foundation, and we're having that big like gap. So like, is this foundation good? Is it not good? I just think this foundation is more suitable for certain skin types more so than others. So I'm gonna put it on my face and kind of go over everything again with you guys and reiterate everything I just said, because it was probably like really freaking confusing. So anyway, it says to shake this foundation really good before you apply it. It is a little bit more on the liquidy side, so you want to get it nice and distributed. So I'm just gonna pump a little bit out on my palette, and the pumps, let me just show you on my hand. The pumps are like really small, like that's what you get in one pump, like a little dot. And I probably need about 3 of these little pumps to cover my entire face, because this foundation is super pigmented, which is great. You do not need a lot of the product to get a nice full coverage. I do have to give it points for that, because for a more pricey foundation, you don't want to waste it. For reference, I'm using the shade Fiji. So to apply this, I like to just pick a little bit up on my brush and then kind of brush it on and then blend it out with my beauty blender to soak up any excess product. I'm just gonna zoom you guys in a little bit. So this is what it looks like when you put it on. It glides over the skin super smooth, like it just like, it's like velvet and buttery. I love that. So I like to just buff it on a little bit with my brush and then kind of tap over with my beauty blender. It does feel a little bit like a serum. I don't think it's classified as a serum foundation. I think it's just because it has a high percentage of dimethicone in it, which gives it like that buttery feel. But because of that, I feel like that's why people with oily skin aren't gonna like this foundation, because it feels like a serum a little bit when it hits the skin, and I feel like if you had oily skin, it might be like, ugh, this kind of feels like gross, get it off my face. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think people with oily skin will really enjoy this that much, and it probably will end up getting a little bit oily throughout the day on someone with oily skin. I don't find this foundation to cling to any of my dry areas, which is great because I always have an issue with that, and this one does not do it. I would use a beauty blender over your dry areas, which is like my forehead, so I do like to use a beauty blender there to just kind of tap over them, but it really doesn't cling much at all. Another thing I like about this foundation is that it feels super lightweight on my skin. Like, it's probably the most comfortable foundation that I own at the moment. It just does not feel like I'm wearing anything throughout the day, which is great, even though it does offer a great amount of coverage. Okay, so this is one layer, and this is the side without foundation, so you guys can see the difference. And I'll zoom you guys in a second so you can see like really up close. I do have you can definitely still see a little bit of skin peeking through, which I do like, but it is buildable, so if you wanted like a more intense full coverage to like really go in and like hit certain spots, you can definitely build it up to a fuller coverage if you wanted to. But this is definitely like medium to full right now on me, but I like that it still looks natural and you can still even see like a little bit of skin peeking through, so I do love that. It just looks really freaking good on my skin. Like, I feel like this foundation, I could wear it on natural days if I wanted to, and then also wear it when I want like more full glam, so I like that it is a little bit versatile. I want to show you guys my nose. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is where like I don't really have any product on the side of my nose, and I do have like larger pores right here. I really don't know if it's gonna pick it up on camera, but the pores on this side of my nose are definitely minimized. The foundation does a really good job at minimizing the pores, which I truly love and appreciate. Even on my forehead, where like I have no foundation on right here, you can definitely see a lot more of my pores and texture, and on the foundation side, it definitely did a good job at smoothing that out and kind of diffusing it, so not a lot of foundations do that. Usually foundations will like intensify the look of your pores, and this one is not doing that. Also, I would be careful bringing this foundation up all the way under your eyes, depending on what concealer you're using, because this foundation does not play well with all concealers. The formula is definitely not all formula friendly. So if you're using a more matte concealer like my Urban Decay All Nighter Concealer, I don't have any issues if I bring the foundation up underneath my eyes, just because the matte kind of counteracts it and doesn't budge. But when I use my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer, which is a serum concealer, underneath my eyes and I bring the foundation up, it will tend to break up my concealer a little bit just because the formulas don't play well together. So just be aware of that. If you're using a more creamy concealer underneath the eyes, I probably wouldn't bring the foundation all the way up there. But if it's a more matte concealer, I think you should be fine. So I'm just gonna toss on a little bit of concealer. So I get about like I would say about 5 hours of wear before I start seeing maybe a little bit of natural oil start to peek through on my T-zone. I don't see any breaking up on my skin type. Again, I am the like normal to combination skin type, so this foundation is definitely right up my alley, but I would probably have to do like a little bit of powdering throughout the day if I wore it for like a whole entire day. But I don't personally mind that. Like, I'll take a little bit of touching up if it means that like the foundation's gonna look really good on my skin. I think my favorite thing about it is that it looks really, really bomb, like on camera and in pictures. I really love the way it looks. Your skin just looks like pretty friggin' flawless. Let's just recap. It's not the most long-wearing foundation, but it does look beautiful on the skin. If you have more dry, like flaky skin, it probably will tend to cling to those and enhance some dryness because it does lean a little bit more matte. So if you are dry skinned, I don't think you will love this if you don't like a matte foundation. On the other hand, if you're oily, very, very oily, I don't think you're going to favor this foundation as well, just because it does have like that little like slip to it. So you might feel a little bit more oily when you have it on, and it might produce a little bit of more oils throughout the day because it's not the most long-wearing matte foundation. But again, just to reiterate, if you have normal to combination skin, I think you would actually really enjoy this foundation like I do, because I think it's like the perfect combination of the best of both worlds. I really like the color of this foundation. I feel like they nailed like the undertones well, and I feel like that's pretty rare for me because a lot of times it's really hard for me to find like my perfect match. I have like really strong yellow undertones, but I also have like a hint of neutral, so they can't go like too neutral or it's too pink and it's annoying. So I feel like a lot of times neutral foundations pull too neutral on me. So I don't know, it's really hard for me to find a good shade, and I feel like this was a really good match. Actually, I love this shade, so I have to give them some points for that as well. And the shade range is nice too. So overall, I think this foundation is definitely worth trying out. I will definitely continue to wear it. I think it looks really nice on the skin, and I love the way it feels. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and got some good information. And if you did and you liked it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up before you leave, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.